Alex tapped away at his keyboard, another spreadsheet demanding his attention. The endless rows of numbers seemed to stretch on forever, each cell a tiny prison of data. He had been at this for hours, and the fatigue was beginning to set in. The glow of the monitor illuminated the weariness in his eyes. Numbers blurred into formulas, and formulas blurred into a haze of exhaustion. He rubbed his eyes, trying to focus, but the screen seemed to mock him with its relentless demands. Deadlines loomed like storm clouds, dark and foreboding. Each tick of the clock was a reminder of the time slipping away, the pressure mounting with every passing second. The calendar on his desk was filled with red marks, each one a deadline he had to meet.
Where was the passion? Where was the joy? He glanced at the motivational poster on the wall, its words now hollow and meaningless. The photographs on his desk, once a source of inspiration, now seemed like relics of a distant past.
Each day felt like navigating a maze. The same hallways, the same faces, the same routine. It was as if he was trapped in a never-ending loop, each day a carbon copy of the last. The monotony was suffocating, the same humdrum conversations about quarterly reports and profit margins, the same small talk in the break room, the same forced smiles and polite nods. It was all so predictable, so mind-numbingly dull. Alex felt like a cog in a machine, his own aspirations fading into the background noise of the office. He had dreams once, ambitions that burned brightly, but now they were just faint echoes, drowned out by the relentless grind of corporate life. He yearned for something more, something fulfilling. He wanted to create, to innovate, to make a difference. But the daily grind left little room for such aspirations. His creativity was stifled, his potential untapped, something that set his soul on fire. He longed for a spark, a passion that would reignite his spirit. But the corporate world was a cold, unfeeling place, and his dreams seemed to wither in its harsh light. But the weight of responsibility pressed down on him. The need to provide, to meet expectations, to be the reliable one. It was a heavy burden, one that left little room for dreams. The need to pay the bills, the constant worry about finances, the never-ending cycle of earning and spending. It was a treadmill he couldn't get off, no matter how hard he tried. The fear of the unknown, the uncertainty of what lay beyond the safety of his cubicle. It was a daunting prospect, one that kept him rooted in place, even as his soul cried out for change. So he stayed, trapped in the gilded cage of his corporate existence. The cityscape outside his window was a constant reminder of the world he was missing, the opportunities he was passing by. But for now, he remained, a prisoner of his own making in the cubicle maze. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months. Alex went through the motions, a shadow of his true self. He attended meetings, drafted reports, and answered emails with feigned enthusiasm. His mind, however, was elsewhere. Behind the spreadsheets and presentations, Alex was an artist in hiding.
He saw beauty in the mundane, finding inspiration in the play of light on his keyboard or the curve of a coffee mug.
He filled notebooks with sketches, his hand moving instinctively, capturing fleeting moments of creativity. These hidden talents went unnoticed by his colleagues. They saw a diligent worker, efficient and reliable. They didn't see the dream swirling behind his tired eyes. They didn't see the yearning for a life less ordinary. One evening, as Alex was clearing out his childhood bedroom at his parents' house, he stumbled upon a dusty box. It was tucked away in the corner, almost forgotten amidst the clutter of old toys and books. The box was covered in a thick layer of dust, a testament to the years it had spent undisturbed. Inside, he found a treasure trove of childhood memories, crayons, paint-splattered smocks, and stacks of drawings. Each item he pulled out brought back a flood of memories, transporting him back to a simpler time when his biggest worry was choosing the right color for his next masterpiece. Each piece was a testament to his younger self's boundless imagination. The drawings were vibrant and full of life, each one telling a story of its own. There were fantastical creatures, sprawling landscapes, and scenes from his favorite stories. It was clear that even as a child, Alex had a vivid imagination and a passion for creating.
He picked up a drawing of a magnificent dragon, its scales meticulously rendered in shades of emerald and sapphire. The dragon looked fierce yet majestic, a creature of both beauty and power. Alex remembered the hours he spent hunched over that drawing, lost in a world of his own creation. He remembered the hours he spent hunched over that drawing, lost in a world of his own creation. Each stroke of the crayon was deliberate, each color carefully chosen. It was a labor of love, a reflection of his passion and dedication. He could almost feel the texture of the paper and the waxy residue of the crayons on his fingers.
A wave of nostalgia washed over him, a bittersweet ache for a time when his dreams were as vast as the sky. He longed for the days when his imagination knew no bounds, when he could spend hours lost in his own world without a care in the world. The memories were a stark contrast to his current reality, a reminder of what he had lost. That night, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he had strayed too far from his true path. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing with thoughts of what could have been. He wondered if he had made the right choices, if he had followed the right path. The corporate world, with its rigid structures and relentless pursuit of profit, felt suffocating. The corporate world, with its rigid structures and relentless pursuit of profit, felt suffocating. The daily grind, the endless meetings, the constant pressure to perform, it was all too much. He felt like a cog in a machine. His creativity stifled and his passion extinguished. He yearned for something more, something that would reignite the spark within him. He yearned to reconnect with the boy who dreamed of dragons and painted his imagination onto every surface he could find. He wanted to rediscover the joy and wonder that he had felt as a child, to reignite the passion that had once burned so brightly within him. He knew that it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to find a way to bring that spark back into his life. The next day at work, Alex felt a familiar conflict brewing inside him. It was a feeling he had grown accustomed to, yet it never got any easier to handle. He sat at his desk, staring at his computer screen, but the words swam before his eyes. The spreadsheets and emails seemed to blur together, making it impossible to focus. He couldn't shake the image of the dragon, a symbol of his forgotten dreams. The dragon represented the creative fire that once burned brightly within him, a fire that had been dimmed by the monotony of his daily routine. He reached for his notebook, his hand itching to draw. It was as if the notebook held the key to a world where he could truly be himself, a world where his imagination could run wild.
He tried to focus on his work, but the pull of his artistic side was too strong to resist. The numbers and data on his screen seemed insignificant compared to the vibrant images in his mind. He began to sketch, his pen gliding across the paper, bringing to life the images that danced in his mind. Each stroke of the pen felt like a step closer to his true self, a self that had been buried under layers of corporate expectations.
He felt a surge of guilt as he realized he was neglecting his work, but he couldn't stop. The act of drawing was more than just a hobby. It was a lifeline, a way to keep his spirit alive in a world that often felt suffocating. Drawing was like breathing, a necessary release for his soul. It allowed him to express emotions and ideas that words could never capture, providing a sense of freedom that his corporate job could never offer. He was torn between his responsibilities and his passions, unsure of how to reconcile the two. The tug of war within him was relentless, pulling him in opposite directions and leaving him feeling fragmented. He longed for a way to merge his two worlds, to find a balance that would allow him to honor both his professional duties and his creative aspirations. But for now, he could only hope that one day he would find a path that would lead him to a place where he could be whole.